Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're joining us from. Again, welcome to a brand new season of the Hard Zone. On the Hard Zone, we try to keep our conversation free from any bias, and just by way of disclaimer, all of the opinions and positions that will be offered on this network and this podcast and that is not the official position of the network, but that of the individual panelists that will be offering them.
Having 4 people on the back of a taxi driver, you want to compare it with 6 people on the back of a motorcycle? Come on, bro, Sharif.
Donald Trump was a former president. His words are very powerful. You can't just accuse an entire community like that. It's wrong.
Listen, Walker, I was one of those people that he actually told me face to face in his home that I would declare my asset. I would make sure my officials declare their asset. In today's date, something as simple as that has not been done.
We are working. We are not going to allow this structure to have the opportunity for 6 years and they never did anything besides stealing the Liberian people money.
We got to be honest here. This old man is one of the incompetent old men that I have ever seen.
We need to have someone who has the educational background as well as the field experience to be able to provide oversight.
All of what Kamala is promising now, the last 4 years, why haven't they done anything? She and Joe Biden.
Look, church leaders, if Liberia will be better, you must play your role.
It is too early to criticize Waka because it is the formation stage.
Again, I'm your host. My name is Derrick Yallay, and let's get started. Joining us from, let me say, welcome to the Liberian Radio and Television Network. And my name is Derrick Yallay. Let me again welcome you to the Hard Zone. And to those of you that have been with us since season 1, you know the Hard Zone is an opinion-based talk show where we feature a team of panelists from different political persuasions, different political institutions. And here on the Hard Zone, there's no gimmick, just real talk. So tonight I will be playing host, ushering all of you into a brand new season. This is season 7, episode 1 of season 7. So we have we're going to follow the same format as previous seasons, but we just have a few changes. Obviously, you'll see some new panelists on tonight, and tonight we are prepared to bring you programs that will keep entice the entire show. So again, stay with us. As always, before we go any further, let me encourage all of you watching us to please do us a favor. Make sure you're following this network on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. The network to follow is the Liberian Radio and Television Network, or LRTN Live, or LRTN Live on Facebook. We're also streaming this podcast live on YouTube, so make sure you're following us there. More importantly, make sure you're sharing this program on your social media pages so that your friends and family may be able to benefit as well. Just to give you a heads up on what to expect on this episode and the rest of the season, we'll have our introduction. We'll introduce some topics, introduce our panelists, and then have discussions around those conversation. For tonight on this pilot episode, we will start in a very special way by inviting the president of POXA in Philadelphia, PA, to talk briefly about the upcoming Black Tie event that will be held there. But before we go any further, before I have on the president from POXA, let me again encourage all of you watching us to please make sure you're following this network, and also make sure you're sharing this program on your individual social media pages, that is Facebook, Instagram, and you name it, so that you and others may be able to benefit from what we have in store tonight. With that being said, let me take this opportunity to now invite the president of POXA and my team of panelists for this episode on the screen, and we will have a brief discussion on the upcoming Black Tie event. But again, before I get into that, let me introduce. I would like to start with you, Mr. Ja Winkin Weir, and Mr. President. I would like to keep it last on our introduction. But let me get Mr. Ja Winkin Weir. Welcome to the pilot episode of season 7, Mr. Ja Winkin Weir.
Okay. Thank you, Derrick. Mr. Dennis, Mr. Foley. Welcome. I have been around here since the inception of the LRTN, but then I live in Grand Forks City, North Dakota. So welcome, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about Liberia.
Thank you very much. Let's talk about Liberia. Mr. Ja Winkin Weir, it's always a pleasure to have you on this panel. But Mr. Don, let's go over to Mr. Don. Sorry if I'm saying this name wrong. Kapeye Dennis. It's a debut episode. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invite. I'm happy to be here, and the long-awaited day has come. A very long time, and reached out to appear here, and I'm happy to be here, and to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you don't mind, can you show me how to say your middle name?
Kapaya.
Great. Thank you very much. And let's move over to Mr. Martin Boda. You started new season. We're coming on late. We can only look forward to what's next. Mr. Boda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Derrick. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here tonight.
Thank you very much. Now, the president of Parkside, Mr. Reverend George Foley. Again, welcome to the show. Let me come over to you. Welcome to the Hard Zone. Welcome to the Liberian Radio Television Network family.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be invited. Again, I've been watching, waiting, and it's an honor just being here, just to share one or two things that we are doing within the community. Thank you. Thanks to the panelists. For those who I haven't met, it's a pleasure meeting you all.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you as well. I know you're here to talk about the 2024 Black Tie Dinner Ball. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, if you can talk to us and the audience about who you are and what institution you represent before we get into you talking about the Black Tie Dinner Ball.
My name is Reverend George Foley. I'm again from Pennsylvania. I do have a ministry online, God's Chosen Ministry. I affiliate with Church Covenant Prayer Ministry. But my platform have more to do with community. Also the president of the Philadelphia Old Timer Community Sports Association, of which I chair as president. A little bit about myself. Migrated here, live in the District of Columbia for a little bit, finally transitioned to Philadelphia. And sports have been something I've been doing for a very long time since I came to this country. And just ascending to a president of there, we just felt it wise to, just change some dynamics around here and let people know that we're not just jocks, but we are intelligent, educated people, and we can do more for the community, more with collaboration and engagement. That's me in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, to you panelists, this is going to be a conversation between us and Mr. Foley. So I will come to you guys for any question or statement that you guys have to contribute. But before I get the ball rolling, let me ask you, Mr. Foley, is this Parkside, what is the relationship with Parkside and the Liberian Association in Pennsylvania? Is it under that association or is it a separate social organization?
We are separate entity, but we collaborate, with the Liberian Association. Even right now, as I serve, I help, I won't say I help, they use me as the sport liaison within the community for the Liberian Association. So again, we are not part, we are a separate entity, but we collaborate with anyone in the betterment of community and country.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ja Winkin Weir, if you have any question for Reverend or President Foley, go right ahead, please.
Well, President Foley, welcome and thank you for your engagement. Mm-hmm. I have been here for a while too. I have seen a lot of many Liberian organizations in every community in the United States. Mm-hmm. And it appears that everything has been the same, getting together, celebrating, having fun. Mm-hmm. I don't see where the organization really meet the needs of the Liberian people that they represent, such as, like, for example, new arrival coming, they have no idea about integration, how to navigate the system. Is that something that you are doing differently from the other Liberian communities, or just the same?
I won't say just the same, because that's what makes us a separate entity, association, if I should say. We thought it wise that sports have been a unifier from day one. East and West Germany, Ivory Coast, Liberia. Our way of tapping onto sports was to see how best we can, again, collaborate and engage. We all know as Liberians, there were war, 15, 16 years war that separated us. That's a breakdown in the demographic. Now, we thought it wise, how best can we do that with what we know best, what we do best? If I should say, like I said, I lived one time in the DMV. I served as Secretary General for the Liberian Association over there. And I probably had the same concern, because most time we're not going nowhere. But I always use sports as a means of bringing people together. I will just give you an example. There's a team called Club International. I'm a founding member in the DMV. We were able, during the heat of the war, we were able to probably send kids to school. I just buried our founder, one of our founder, about a month ago. And you will see that people flew in, doctors, lawyers, and what have you. We are just some people that are behind the scene, but we just decided to step up front. So I wouldn't say we are one of the same. The Liberian Association serve at the umbrella, so the ULA and everything else. But we just wanted to separate sport to see how best we could come together, if that's your answer to the question. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jawonkin. Let's hear from you, Mr. Dennis, please.
Yeah, Mr. Foley, thank you for coming on. Thank you for accepting the invitation. I'm happy to see you here.
Yes,
and my question to you is that in most communities, you see that organizations are formed, and then after a few years, they disappear in the face. What are some of the strategies that you think help POSA to be around? And when was it established?
We were established about 20 or 25 years ago. One of the things we found out, especially within our community, we talk a lot and don't listen. Sometimes it's good to listen, And one of the things we find out as we continue to grow, there will always be, ups and downs. But we listen, we engage. When I tap onto POSA, as I migrated from, like I said, Virginia or DC, I found out there was a gap into the generation. We won't be bothered with this person won't want to be bothered with it. And the mindset. Everybody had the mindset, you were just jobs that come to drink, you had nothing to do. So I said, how best can we do that? We got to engage, listen to what they got to say. Because a lot of things happen. If I should say, I took on my political hat a very long time ago. I'm a graduate of Tut Mahal. We were one of those in the forefront doing the progressive. But I don't want to get too much into that. But one of the things we learned was engaging. When I engaged these young people, I had to listen to them. I listened to their core, something they cannot relate to. There's a gap in that, some disparity within generation, there's a gap. So the best way is to engage. The best way to collaborate. The best way is to bring them together. What we have done on this leadership and leadership before me is the fact that we were able to listen, come to them in order to bring them to you. And that's what we've been using, that mentality or that method, and it's our work. If that answers you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the answer. I want to take you back. I want you to give me a little bit. Let's get deeper and deeper into this discussion.
Yes.
Let's get in the community setting where people say, they look at the age range and say, well, that's for old folks. That's for old folks. What are some of the things that you have done? And what are some of the method you're applying to get this organization attracted to young folks in the community? Knowing the population here in Philadelphia, to be specific.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, it's supposed to have been a unifier, I will tell you this much. When I moved, I was the technical director on the Gabriel West administration. Now, there's a different generation on how they think. So guess what I used to do? Most time when people see me on the field, I'm picking up trash. So why this man picking up trash? Simple thing like that. So if this man can pick up trash, I know I'm supposed to pick up trash. Because one of the problems we were having on our soccer field, field was left dirty. But if I can get out and pick up trash, guess who's going to follow me? The same generation going to follow me. It's about engage and doing what you have to do. One of the things I say, even in ministry, we are serving. We got to learn to serve. Most things I found out within our community, certain people got title and so much bureaucracy and red tape. My administration, we engage. I have two of my members who basically have health issue, stroke or whatever. We visit them. You know, we the organization in itself on July 4th every year we have Family Day where we on our soccer field where we just give back food, whatever, to young kids. You know, notwithstanding we visit folks at hospitals. You know, but these are things we don't, you know, come out to say because of for whatever reason, but we show ourselves. And if anybody knows Philadelphia, 7601 Lindbergh Boulevard is where everybody want to be. It's therapeutic for us. I just had the Liberian Association last weekend. They had decided to do a walkathon for women and children. You know, I like, hey, come on. You know, whether you come and just walk around if you help your strength. Doing my inauguration about 3 years ago, one of the person I brought, a personal friend of mine was Dr. Masale. You know, tell us about health. We went to school together. You know, but so there's so much little things that we do. You know, I'm one of the people I always like to sit in the back, but I guess it's time that I come forward to see, you know, just to let the people know that we too are here and we mean well. Because even when I started, right, people are like, okay, what are you going to gain from this? I'm laughing. I like, you know,
that was going to be my follow-up question to you, but just roll into that, and that would be and the impact too, the impact expected impact of Liberia as well, because we say live Liberia, think Liberia, do Liberia, move Liberia, sleep Liberia. What the impact back home?
No, so our thing was, you know, in order to bless over there, you know, we got to be set a year.
Okay.
So a lot of meetings, association thing, you know, and all we talk, we just talk. You know, everybody want to tell what they got. What are you doing for home? My brother's supposed to be on Chum Newton from Great Ball Player. I will just give you an example on even what they do, because you're supposed to be here by now. Anybody know about Great Ball Player basketball court? All right. But I will just throw on him and now come back to me. They're building basketball court in underprivileged community. They just built a court in Logantown. They built another court in New Cruton. They're about to, the electronic sound board that you see at the SKD, they donated it. You know, right now they're doing something in Grand Bassa County. They have been placed by play. And believe you me, how many members they got? 35. What have we done? You know, most of our members, I know you don't want me to go any, you know, through here they have propelled to government position and what have you. They carry our agenda there. We're supposed to be going to Liberia December. Our first thing that we're going to do, we'll be playing the Alpha Otama on the 21st of December. Because one of the things we find out, soccer have died in Liberia, if anybody follow. If you go on the field, nobody there. And one of the things we found out, there's a missing generation. How do we do that? So there are teams that we support back home. We want to take them to the Alpha Otama field to see that, hey, we all can get together. We all can do this. You know what? In as much I would tell you to go to school, but I can play soccer and go to school. I can play soccer and have a degree. I can play soccer and good things will happen. You know, not limited to sports, but we are intelligent people and you too are worthy. If I can say that, if that answers the question, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. Let's move on to, thank you, Mr. Foley and Mr. Dennis. Let's move on to Mr. Boda. Mr. Boda, if you have any question.
Mr. Foley, I would like to get a little bit inside of the organization, maybe what it stands for. SAPOSA, is that the name of the organization?
Yes, sir.
So what is that supposed to be?
Yeah, all right. So we are the Philadelphia Old Timer Community Sports Association. Community sports. Well, we've been into existence for 25 plus years. Like I said, I migrated here 2004. You know, transition year, if I should say 2004. And I tap onto it because soccer have always been my passion. Sports have always been my passion. Yes, soccer, basketball, what have you. And I always saw it as a unifier. Like I said, when I was in the DC area, we use sports to help, you know, it was like a rehabilitation tool for a lot of people. And we know that, you know, we were able to, you know, sacrifice, go into our personal pocket. People have propelled to doctors, lawyers, and believe it or not, you know. So I felt that the same thing can be done here. So yeah, our organization is Philadelphia Old Timer Community Sports Association. Community sports, our key thing.
So what brings to mind my question is, what is a specific program that is geared, I mean, that you are targeting? I know you talk about uniting all of, you know, bringing all together. Mm-hmm. What is a specific goal and intent or program that you want to really set forth to achieve that target of your community.
So our target is just to give back. Just as simple as that. Just to give back. Like I said, it started here before over there. Right now, if we can all be truthful, we all know people are just falling down and dying. Come and walk on the field. It's therapeutic for us. When we get on our soccer field, there's a lot of dialogue, politics, whatever have you. I mean, we in different sections. Everybody's doing their own thing, but it's more therapeutic. We all work hard in this country. I mean, we stayed there. We got the food there, the Liberian food to eat and what have you. But for something of it, you just be able to relate back home. Right now, one of the reasons we're doing this program, our only revenue that we get is our membership. I threw it to you like this. We got 177 members. I got about 60 members that I can say can honestly pay their due. No means of revenue, but we use that, like I say, it's for our own self, our own health, for our own strength. And once we are healthy, we will be able to find avenue to help whoever over there. Right now, I don't want to jump into the program. We are honoring some people in the program that we have that have been trailblazers. We got younger people that's 10 kids away to go study, to play through soccer, And this is what we are. We just want to get back, and we think sports is our way of doing it.
Thank you, Mr. Foley. Let's recognize the presence of Councilor Freeman. Councilor Freeman, welcome to episode 1 of season 7. It's good to have you again, Councilor Freeman.
Thank you, Derrick. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, we have the president of Parkside here, Mr. Reverend George Foley. Mr. Foley, I know you came on here to talk about the black tie event you guys have coming up. Of course, I will give you time to talk more about that. But from listening to you, I have a question for you, and just based on what you're saying, just clarification, and I'm going to pivot a little bit if you don't mind.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that soccer is a unifier, and I agree with that. Now, if we look at soccer or football in Liberia, and something you said, you think football in Liberia is dead. Mm-hmm. You also think that you're doing this to give back. You find it very therapeutic. Now, the question I want you to answer, what is it with Liberia and football? And I'm speaking on the national level, like with the Lone Star and our national league, that it don't seems to be as exciting as it used to be. What do you think is the problem? And given your expertise, what do you think should be done or can be done?
I mean, the root cause, the war did so much to us, The war did so much to us in every avenue. I remember growing up,
Are you there, Mr. Foley?
Hello, I'm back.
You're back. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mr. Moderator, my brother Chum needs to say he's trying to link in. I don't know if you saw him. He said something with it.
Yes, I will contact my producer, and he was bringing me if he's in the waiting room.
Okay, all right, thank you. So yeah, to answer your question, we grew up in the time that soccer was life. I said life in the sense, growing up from underprivileged, we use soccer for, to help us in every aspect of life. I remember getting beaten a lot of time because instead of going to church, I'm a reverend, but I would go onto the soccer field, I wanted to play the soccer game. One of the persons that we are honoring doing this program, I know most of you will know him, is Benedict Wisa. We saw soccer in every aspect, from Yucatan to Plum Court to what have you, and it have been so. It was the pastime. I got another person I'm honoring. His name is Conan Mitchell. Conan told me you were in Todi. He used to sit by the radio, to listen to how sports were going. But to answer your question, the war did so much. There was a gap. When we grew up, you needed that foundation. You needed respect. When I say respect, in the sense, it bothered me. A kid will come here today, he play one game, you see him play, you got to go party. No, we were disciplined. We tried to learn. Right now, what we have in Liberia, yes, it's not supported, number one, but the fundamental is not there. I see people on limb feet, they don't know the fundamental. Folks, I can say on this platform, I'm 60 years old. Somebody would drill up me and feed like they did something. Young man, come on now. You know, you're not ready. You know, when we try to teach you, it go back to my point. They don't want to listen. But I'm studying people that will listen, and it propels the bigger and better thing. So yeah, football had that. What effect in all avenues? I always say, our generation was stolen. So
thank you. Let me ask a follow-up question based on what you just said. I understand. I'll take your response. As the war affected sports and probably is keeping up the way we are, but we can also agree that we've been 2 administrations past the civil crisis, and today, and this is not, I stand corrected on this. Our national budget, we're giving less than 1% towards towards the Lone Star or national sports in general. Do you think that can be a contributing factor? Would you use your knowledge on soccer and how you see it unify people to call on the current administration to do more for sports in Liberia, especially especially financially? Do you think that's a contributing factor that the government should be doing more?
That's a key factor. I agree with you. That's a key factor. Let me go back to time. I remember when Samuel Doe took over, I was working at the Ministry of Agriculture. Sports were promoted. I remember that there came a time we had to close all the ministry. We were playing Ghana or something. I remember when he sent a group of folks to Brazil, and when these guys came back, soccer was at another level. Look, our economy right now is suffering. The way I see it, sports tourism. But if I can say on this line, I can say, but just so much greed, no sacrifice. So that 1%, well, yeah, I think it's supposed to be up. You're bringing players in from out of the country. 1% is not going even nowhere. Even the local players, what are you giving them? For our county league, you see everybody making noise. People contributing to that. What is the government doing? So in this country, if I can say, we all watch sports. I'm a sports fanatic. I ain't even got to tell you the minimum salary. If we put more in it, we will receive more from that. That I believe in, also tourism.
Thank you. Let's welcome Mr. Chump Newton, Secretary General of the Great Ball Player USA-USA. If you don't mind, can you adjust your camera so we can see your face a little clearer?
It's muted.
Yes.
Unmute your mic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. We can work with that. But let's go to Councilor Freeman. If you have any question, we'll have Mr. Newton introduce himself and address that question if you don't mind.
I have no questions there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Newton. Let's come back. Let's come back to you. First of all, introduce yourself, and we've been talking with President Foley, and if you can, let's start the conversation on this event that Boxa got coming up. If you can talk about that, I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, gentlemen of the panel, I just want to say good evening and thank you for your invitation. My name is Chump Newton, and I am the Secretary General of the Great Ball Players USA. So it's a pleasure and honor to be on your platform this evening, joining you, great gentlemen, to actually talk about who we are and the program or activity that should be coming up on November 30th on the southwest of Philadelphia. So thank you. I appreciate being on your platform here this evening.
Thank you very much. And President Foley, I'm sure you will have more to add on this 2024 Black Tie Dinner, but I want you to respond to one of our commenters that that your attempt to blame the war for everything is kind of why we are here. So I think you saw the comment. So if you can respond to that and then talk more about this 2024 Black Tie Dinner.
I'm trying to find it.
Okay, before Mr. Foley go into his answering his question, did you just want me to just introduce, or you wanted me to just go on telling you about our organization and what we do and stuff like that?
Yes.
Or you're gonna come back to me whichever way, because I don't know where you want to navigate this this presentation.
Yes, we've already had Mr. Foley talk to us about the organization, but I'm always open to hear if you have anything more to add. But I'll take more questions from our panelists eventually, and then at the end, I was going to come back to you to ask you if you have anything more to add. But I just don't want, for the sake of the audience, for us to talk in circle or say things that have already been said. But I think Mr. Foley has already talked to us about the organization. But again, after Mr. Foley responds to our commenter, I will come back to you if there's more you need to add. I'll give you the opportunity to do so.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Not quite. I think your connection. Yes. So again, I'll come back to you, Mr. Newton, because we just lost Mr. Foley. If there's something you want to add, I will give you the opportunity to do. So now I have to ask you, Great Ball Players, is that a different organization separate from POXA?
Are you asking a question, or are you asking Foley?
I'm asking you, Mr. Newton.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, bro. Okay, now let's go back to that. That's just pretty much. Let me take you from who we are. The Great Ball Players USA is a group of Liberians living within the diaspora, who are former basketball players. That is female and male. We have coaches, former coaches, the fans and supporters, and well-wishers of the game of basketball. We thought to come together to be able to give back to Liberia. And the way we thought that we can contribute to Liberia is through the game that we all once played back in the day. So we actually got ourselves organized since 2016. And we carry on a couple of projects in Liberia. Some of the projects that we held out in Liberia much had to do with the construction of the basketball court that you now have in the Negro Town area. We had another basketball court that we renovated within the Loking Town area. We carry on what you call vacation basketball training program for more than 270 young people from elementary to high school. We had a program that ran over a month where we kind of collaborated with the Mama Gemma Ultimate Sports Organization. It's an organization that's pretty much popular on the ground there in Monrovia, but the head of the organization is here in the United States. He's also part of our organization. So we ran that program for about a month and created activities for the children and showing them about basketball, showing them about hygiene, and getting them to understand taking on responsibility and learning about competition, stuff like that. We also did the purchase of the 5 feet tall and 8 feet wide. I think you have seen the electronic scoreboard that we have at the Samuel Kayando Sports Stadium. The 5x8 scoreboard, the electronic scoreboard you see there, was also purchased and donated to the Samuel Kayando Sports Stadium for basketball games and basketball activities in Liberia. And that program, that clock was installed through the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Currently, we have an ongoing project in the Gardensville Stephen Tower Estate. And that is the construction of a full-size or FIBA-size basketball court. or facilities, so to speak, because we'll have a full-size basketball court. That's on. We already done the foundation. We covering the court right now. We're gonna after when everything is completed, there will be a full-size basketball court. We got rims that's already being shipped from China. That'll be going to Liberia. 2 basketball rims, and we're gonna have we're gonna be when it's done. We will have 2 bathrooms, 1 male and 1 female bathroom, and we're gonna have also 2 locker rooms, male and female locker rooms. We're gonna when it's done, we're gonna have a septic tank and a water tower installed there as well to be able to facilitate the use of the bathrooms and other areas over there. We're also going to have, when it's done, we're going to have a sitting capacity that will accommodate at least 200 people sitting down as well. So in total, rough estimation for now, we're looking at spending at least between $35,000 to $37,000 when everything is done in Liberia. So obviously, we saw the need to do such initiative in Liberia because it's our way of giving back to Liberia. But giving back to the young people, in Liberia today, we have the young people just roaming around, especially after school, because our concentration of program is actually concentrated within the suburban Monrovia. So we look at areas like Nukutown, Logantown, we look at the Garnersville, we look at Barnersville, 72nd, that whole belt of the Somalia area. We consider our underprivileged areas. Those are areas, because back in the day when I was in Liberia, I used to live in Logantown, and it was difficult to get to the gym, to play practice basketball. Even though I used to get there, and for the level of basketball I play, I had sponsors that would give me transportation to get there, and then I moved over to Garnersville as well. But it was kind of difficult. So we know that the constraint that people go through, or the young people we go through, especially right now with the condition of situations in Liberia, what young people have to go through to get to the gym. So we're trying to bring a state-of-the-art basketball facility. If you look at the one that we have in Nukutown, it's a full-size court. It has sitting capacity and it has 2 rims as well. This one is another upper grade one that we're trying to build in an area this. So we believe that through sports, the young people will have some form of activity. They can come together because sports, as a matter of fact, is a tool that you can use to be able to bring people together. You can be able to create competition, let them know about helping them to develop or grow the ability to have this self-esteem, to be able to compete with one another, to be able to associate and get to know other kids coming from other areas, and just the interaction of it. Because we know that these are the kind of benefits that we got from it, as young people going to school back home. So these are some of the things that the Great Ball Players USA is pretty much doing in Liberia at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Newton. Those are really great initiatives. And I wish we had more time to talk in detail about all of those initiatives, but we have a very few more minutes for this interview. So I'll give you guys the opportunity now to take the next 4 minutes and talk about this and give us your closing remark, and then talk about this and just wrap up on this 2024 Black Tie dinner you guys have coming up. So I'd like to start with Mr. Newton and then finish up with Mr. Foley. Mr. Newton.
Okay, for us, we have a collaboration with the Philadelphia Old Timers Community Sports Association, the Parkside, through the president, Reverend George Foley, who is my very good friend from elementary school days. George and myself, we were in the same class from Lutheran school from 4th grade up to 11th grade. So we go way back. I just wanted to commend him for the opportunity to collaborate with his organization. We will be raising fund. Our participation in the event over there is that we'll be doing food sale. We'll be selling food at that day. He gave us the opportunity. We got some guys that come in from other areas like California, from Minnesota, from the Jersey area, and some parts of the states, the East Coast. See, we'll be about maybe 12 people coming together, with some of our ladies coming together to sell food because we want to raise funds for this particular project that we have in Newtown. It's a $36,000 project. So we still try to generate and solicit funding for that. So participation on that at that event would be to sell food. And of course, at night, we'll be going to the Parkside dinner ball to give our support from the Group of Players USA to Foley and the Parkside organization, and see what we can do as an organization to help them promote their work. And moreover, I just want to also thank you, Mr. Panelist. I mean, your panelists and you, Mr. Host, for what you're doing. You know, because I feel that a panel like you have here, it's a good thing that you have opportunity given to other people like us and small organizations to be able to share information and do some promotion and also provide entertainment for your audience. So that pretty much what we're going to be doing. And I thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Newton. Let's take your final words, Mr. Foley.
All right. First, before I start, I think I froze. But the person who wrote, again, is blaming the war, the process. We knew how we grew up, you know. A lot of things happen, ethnicity and what have you. But I know what part, you know, the war played when it came to sports. But with that said, all right, again, we will be having our Black Tie Fair come November 30th at the Springfield Country Club, top of the line. Elegant. But before we do that, and I didn't have a chance to mention that, the morning of November 3rd, we were able to engage the police department, the Philadelphia Police Department. They will be playing us in a soccer match. It will be for 50 and over. Don Dennis, you can come, bring her jersey. So, yeah, 50 and over, we'll have a little program, you know, to say, one of the things we found out, a lot of people wasn't engaging the police. We wouldn't engage the police when something happened. So we were able to engage the police. We were able to engage councilmen. We were able to engage senators. And they thought it was that we all can get together on what we do best on our Lindbergh feed on the morning of the 30th. So there will be a soccer game. Like my brother said, great ball player, they tap onto us a week before and wanted to do something. I said, why don't we all collaborate? To go back to what I said earlier, collaborate and engagement. So we have a couple of vendors. I asked them not to come. You know, let great ball players do what they do, you know, for the initiative that they're doing back home. Now, with the Black Tie Fair, the Black Tie Fair, yes, it's black. We were able to tie onto our host, will be one of our comedians, international comedian, my own daughter. Her name is Mary Love, L-O-V-E, named Mary Love. We were also able to divine intervention, if I should say, because I met him somewhere. Everybody know Big Steve, Balawala, who is that? He's a gospel artist now. He did a couple of releases. He too will be tapping onto the show. And let me say this. Our program is not a fundraiser. It's all of us getting together for acquaintance, networking, and what have you. Don't get me wrong now. If somebody want to bless us with a little token, we will take it. But my program is very short and sweet. Honorees, you know, we just get together to just get acquaintance. I have the owner of the Philadelphia Union, you know, who's supposed to be stopping by, sending people by. The police department, the 112 police department, they have been honored. They too will stop by. It's a unique occasion. Sit-down dinner, $75. Original VIP is $100. Somebody asked me why VIP. Everything will be staying the same. We asked everyone at $25 just help us with our initiatives, okay? But it's not a fundraiser. We are just sitting down to just say thank you to the community and what have you, especially our own. All right, like there will be 18 or 15 honoree, including I did say earlier, our chief honoree is Benedict Wisa, Mama Musa from Liberia, and a couple of other people within the community. And just before I go, your network, you know, will also, Mr. Anderson and the crew here will also be honored that day. Okay, and we see what everybody do using this platform for what they do. So this network, Liberia Radio Television Network, they all been answered. I see Mr. Anderson and his crew, what they do, we're all even in charge. So we were just tapping onto what all we see and just tell everybody thank you. We all believe, give flyer while we're alive and not while we're dead. And that's about it, what we're doing. So we see you all on November 30th. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, President Reverend George Foley, and also to you, Mr. Chum Newton. Thank you for joining us this evening on our very first episode of Season 7 to talk about your organization and also the events you have coming up. If you're watching us, the date is Saturday, November 30th, and it's at the Springfield Country Club. As you can see, the flyer will also be posted on our page on Facebook, and so make sure you will get all of the information you need to attend this all-black tie dinner ball. Before we take our break, and excuse both of you again, guys, if you're watching us, this is episode 1 of season 7 of The Hard Zone. When we come back, we will look into other issues here in the U.S. The former President Donald Trump was re-elected as the 47th president of the United States. And also looking in Liberia, the president of Liberia, President Joseph Yamon, just returned from a 4 days working visit from Sierra Leone. And we also saw today that the speaker was removed and the new speaker was elected. So guys, those and other issues that are present or that you're interested in, we will give you the opportunity to talk about it when we come back from our break. Until then, let's take our first break.
Welcome to your new home away from home in the heart of Margibi County, Liberia. This privately owned guest house located at Disco Hill provides a spacious home for vacation rentals, including 3 comfortably decorated bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. Here, we aim to meet the need of every one of our guests. Do you plan on hosting a meeting? Invite your team to our expansive lounging area, which is perfect for conferences. Let our attentive staff help you celebrate life's biggest moments with your loved ones in our spacious indoor and outdoor event area with chairs, tables, and all your event needs. Whether you're visiting home from abroad or right here in Liberia, we're ready to take your call. Welcome home. Call us now to book your reservation at your new home away from home. Maintaining your vehicle can be a major investment. That's why here at Brothers Auto Care, we pride ourselves on providing professional and reliable auto care at affordable rates. Whether you need an inspection, new brakes, or diagnostic reports, our skillful and experienced mechanics are here for you every step of the way. Call Brothers Auto Care now to schedule your next auto maintenance and repair service. At Brothers Auto Care, we help you drive home with peace of mind.
Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching us, this is episode 1, season 7 of The Hard Zone. That was very interesting. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're here with us, this is episode 1 of season 7 of The Hard Zone. And if this is your first time joining us, The Hard Zone is an opinion-based talk show where we feature a team of panelists from different political institutions, different political persuasions. And here, just by way of disclaimer, the positions and opinions that will be offered here on this podcast is not the official position of the network, but that of the individual panelists or guests that will be offering them. With that being said, guys, a lot has been going on since our last episode. We just saw a new former President Donald Trump elected as the 47th president of the United States. If you guys want to talk on that, you're free to do so. And in Liberia, you follow the news. The speaker was removed, and we saw a new speaker elected. We also seen President Bouaka. He's been doing quite a things, couple of trips. He just returned from Sierra Leone from a 4-day working visit. So again, guys, it's an open panel discussion. You pick what's interesting, what's pressing to you, or what has been very interesting to you. So I'd like to start with you, Mr. Dennis. Welcome to the show. This is The Hard Zone. What's on your mind?
Thank you. Those are issues. Those are all issues that we all can discuss in length. But again, this is the American politics regarding the Trump re-election, Trump electing Trump to the White House. Trump spoke the language. He spoke the language that people wanted to hear, that the majority wanted to hear. So they elected him as president. Now, the next 4 years, presidency of Trump, would it be in repeat of what he did before in the past 4 years, or should we expect something new to come out of it? Yes, something new should come out of it, because what he was in there, he may have have some experience other than just being elected and coming into the politics from business to politics. Now that he served as president, so we should see a much improved kind of a presidency come the next 4 years. So that is just my take on that. Again, I'm a Democrat, and I believe that election is over, and I like the American electoral process. Election is over. Joe Biden extended that olive branch, and he welcomed Trump to the White House, preparing for transition. Trump is in the process of appointing his cabinet, so he's working in the right direction. They're moving. Am I saying that all his nominees will be confirmed? I'm not sure that will happen, but he's doing what he's supposed to do, or is expected of him in the first 30 days. So that's my take on that. Are we going by phases, right? We're just going one at a time, right? So
I will have to recognize you before.
Okay.
You go ahead. So thank you so much, though. But let's hear from. It's not in the order you see the picture. So you gotta know, one time Mr. Jawangin, we had attacked me for that. So again, let's hear from Councilor Freeman. Give us a take, what's been present for you, and talk to us.
On the Donald Trump election?
On whatever, it can be Liberia, it can be the U.S. I know Mr. Dennis started off on President Trump re-election.
Oh, okay. Well, I think, look, the American people have decided. I don't think it makes any point to relitigate what has already happened. It's happened already, and we'll see for the next 4 years what happened. I think more important than America's election is what we see unfolding in Liberia. And I think every one of us are aware of what has been unfolding with respect to the legislative branch of government. It's highly unfortunate, and I'm not sure it's unprecedented, because I think other speakers have been removed in the past. But I think we can all agree that it's unprecedented the way in which it's happening, right? And what I mean by that, the fact that you had two separate, blocks within the House, and today we saw that the Speaker, the majority group is saying that they got their own Speaker now. The Speaker is allegedly has been put on the bench, has been set aside. We'll see how it plays out in the court. But the fact is, the law is clear. And these individuals, these elected officials of government, these legislators, they are responsible for enacting laws. And so they themselves they are considered custodians of the law, right? To see what's unfolding, it's a flagrant disregard for the law. It is my hope that the court does not take the back seat, the Supreme Court. I understand that the Speaker and his team, I was just reading the list, the lawyers seem to have listed all of the petitioners in the complaint to the Supreme Court. They have filed petition with the court and asking for a number of things to happen. Among them, they want that group to be invalidated. They want the committee that was set up by the majority group to be deemed unconstitutional, among other things. We'll see how it plays out. It's a test of our judicial system in Liberia. My sincere hope is that the court does not take a back seat on this issue. The court does what we expect the courts to do, which is intervene. And more importantly, when the court does that all parties should respect the decision of the court. That is constitutionally mandated. that when the Supreme Court makes a decision on Article 66 of the Constitution, that is final, the final arbiter of the Constitution. So we see how it plays out, and I think it'll be an interesting one to watch. So let's all look to see what happens.
Thank you very
So
much.
Derrick, can I get to the counselor for a second?
Yes, I will come back to you for rebuttal, but let's hear from Mr. Boda and Mr. Jawinkin. We are first. So just hold your thought. Mr. Boda, let's hear from you.
Thank you, Derrick. You know, like Councilor Freeman really said, you know, it's a little bit tricky and confusing and hard to understand the mindsets about a lawmaker. And we had a mortal democratic process in Liberia where you don't have a two-party system. You don't have a majority in the House, in Congress, to say, okay, look, based on our policies, our agreement, or what line of fighting, it just confused. A lot of confusion going on, you know. And the removal of a speaker, where is the basis and what it is, you know. Does it benefit the Liberian people, the people that they serve? Is that what they're fighting for, or is this something for the self-aggrandizement? So these are things that we have to understand. The Liberian people themselves need to understand. The House does not represent the people's interests. These are a bunch of people who are just elected or find a job for themselves to enrich themselves and do whatever pleases them, and not the Liberian people. How many of these people, if you look at the structure of the House of Representatives, from the onset, since the beginning, since 2000, we've been in this thing, what law has some of them passed to affect the life of that people? You know, but all here is about committees. Who serve on what committee? Who serve on this committee? Who does what? You know, so for me, actually, it's just another show for themselves. And I just feel for the Liberian, the common people in our country who are the victim of these people madness. You know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boda. Very interesting point. You brought the Liberian people in. You think they're a victim to what's going on. I'll come back to you so you can develop that. I would love to hear you develop that. Mr. Jawinkin, let's talk to me. Mr. Dennis brought up the U.S. election. I think Mr. Councilor Freeman also talked briefly about that, and Mr. Boda went with the what's going on in Liberia. So give us your take so we can start taking rebuttal.
Okay, here's my take on the whole situation. Looking at Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution, specifically it states that the purpose of serving in any position is for the security and satisfaction of the Liberian people. So if you are the leader of the country, the speaker was elected to be a representative, but at the same time, the country comes first. If you are in the leadership and if you cannot function, and if that becomes distracting or a distraction to the Liberian people, in my opinion, it is wise for the sake of the Liberian people to give way. I'm not looking at whether it is right or wrong. Like in the case of this going election in the United States, Joe Biden was legally nominated through the electoral process, but at least based on the lot of noise and here and there, for the sake of the party, for the sake of the country, he stepped aside. But that you hardly find in Africa specifically. So my take here is that I see that the Speaker Kofa filed something to the Supreme Court. I hope the court looks into that, as the councillor said. But Representative Kofa and the rest of the Liberian people who are lawmakers, the purpose of being there is to serve the people of Liberia, non-inhibition. Even if he is removed as a speaker, he's still the representative of his constituency. So my take is we should pull Liberian first. Those who are in leadership should pull Liberian first. Because holding on to too much of right in this case does not serve the interest of the Liberian people. So I look forward to seeing what will be the outcome of the ruling of the Supreme Court in the case.
Thank you, Mr. Jai Winkin. Let me hear from you, Mr. Dennis. You had a rebuttal to Councilor Freeman. So let me hear from you, and then I'll go ahead with my question. You're on mute.
I'm just trying to support what the councilor was saying, knowing that the knowledge on when it comes to the Constitution. Some of our traveled early from Liberia, and we just forgot about the Constitution. We started to, drill ourselves with this the United States Constitution and got into community politics and all of that. But I just want him to a little bit tell me more about, according to the Constitution of Liberia, the Chapter 5, Article 49. It talks about the 2/3. But my concern was that was Fanati Kofa given the due process? Is that what can happen there in the legislature? I just wanted the councilor, if the councilor having knowledge of that, to just clarify my doubt a little bit, because they're saying that 2/3 majority and the resolution. So the resolution is drafted by the 2/3, or is the speaker, was he given the due process, prior to that resolution process? That's something that I wanted to know, Councilor.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we have you, Councilor.
So your question is whether or not the speaker was given due process of law?
Yeah, even though the Constitution states, according to Chapter 5, Article 49, stated that they need a 2/3 resolution to be to pass. So I don't know what prior to that. What happened?
Let me just to be more on point, let me cite the constitutional provision, okay? It is so Article 20 of the Constitution talks about due process of law. Article 38 of the Constitution that governs legislative issue also talks about due process of law. With respect, in fact, if you look at Kofa's petition to the court, one of the things that we're actually honing on is the fact that Kofa was not accorded due process of law. There was no hearing. There was no ability for him to confront his accusers. They also indicated in that complaint that there were other individuals who are supporting Kofa, Marvin Cole and Ms. Kamara. They too were taken off their committee, I think suspended, and they too were not accorded due process of law. Whether you are a speaker or an ordinary Liberian, you are still protected by the constitutional guarantees. Article 20 guarantees due process of law. Now, essentially, as it pertains to the legislative branch, Article 38 says, well, there must be 2/3.
Yeah.
I know that if you notice that the majority bloc have been saying they have the majority, right?
Yeah.
Article 33 talks about majority. Okay, it said there must be a quorum, but the quorum is in respect to rule making. It's in respect to the gathering of the House, so to speak. The Constitution clearly says on its face, under Article 38, that in order to expel a member, there must be a 2/3.
Yes. Yes.
But more importantly, even after you've acquired a 2/3, it explicitly says that there must be due process of law.
Good.
According to the Constitution. Now,
yes.
Kofa and his people are saying that on two bases, you cannot proceed. One, there's no 2/3, but more importantly, we've not been accorded any due process. In fact, I think a few days ago, he had a press conference where he says, if you want to remove me, come back to the House and accord me due process of law. Let me be able to confront my accusers. Every citizen, before rights and properties can be deprived from you, you must be accorded due process of law. If you look at his complaint, his lawyer is citing the lack of due process under Article 20, not 38. And I think there's a reason for that. If you look at it on the 20 encompasses everyone. It's not just a House Speaker or a member of the Congress. It's just everyone. Everyone, before your rights, your liberty,
citizen,
your property can be deprived from you. You must be accorded to due process. They didn't do that yet. And it will be interesting to see how the court handle this case. This is going to be it's going to be a test of our system. And here's why. We are talking about two coordinated branches of government. They're co-equals.
Yeah.
Right? The Supreme Court is under the judiciary branch, and you have the House under the legislative branch. These are two coordinated branches of government. It will be interesting to see, on the one hand, whether the court is going to accept the case, and on the other hand, how the court is going to actually decide this case. Because the problem might be, if the court decide one way, with the lack of rule of law in Liberia, how the parties going to actually react? Is the majority bloc going to accept the court's decision pursuant to Article 66 of the Constitution that says that the court is the final arbiter? Congress makes no law superseding that. The legislative branch can make no law to restrict the court's ability to decide a case. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Two coordinated branches of government, they're co-equals.
Thank you, Mr. Weah. So, do you have anything to contribute? Because I saw you raising your.
No. I as I said earlier, like I was not looking at because since this whole episode started, there is nothing for the Liberian people, and it has been about Speaker Kofa. He has all the rights, but my point was, once you cannot function for the sake of the country, and since he's duly also elected as a representative, not as a speaker from the constituency, you can still step aside for the sake of the country, to make sure. That was what I was saying. But he also has a right to pursue what he's doing, seeking all the legal means. So in the end, whatever the court says, I hope either side will accept the outcome. But I was just saying, for the sake of the country, because Article 1 also says that the purpose of serving any position is for the security and satisfaction of the people. So when there is a confusion here and there, if you don't have any business, if you cannot do anything, then of course you're not serving Liberian people. He alone is not a president, but you can put the country first over personality. That will not also disqualify him as a representative for which he was elected. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. Before I come to you, Mr. Bodat, let me ask you a question, Councilor Freeman. First, you said this entire speaker removal, allegedly, you said, is a flagrant disregard for the law, and just recently, you also said that how this entire thing plays out will be like a test for our system. Now, you've been witnessing how our justice system been handling cases, or now, what are your feelings? What do you think is going to happen, given what you know or what you've seen from our justice system in Liberia? What does the guts tell you how this is going to play out?
I don't like to engage in suppositions and conjectures, particularly because this case is one of first nature, right? There's no precedent in Liberia for a case of this nature. But if we look at the way the court has conducted itself in some of these past decisions, and let me reference the most recent one, when Mr. Speaker Kofa filed something with the court and the court issued a decision, I think ordering the majority bloc to return to the full house. They didn't comply. They simply didn't comply. So without speculating as to, how this whole thing is going to unfold, I think it would be best we all watch it to see what happens. I don't want to engage in any speculation. This case, and for the very nature of the fact that we are talking about another co-equals, another democratically separate branch of government.
Yeah.
That's the point I want to make here, and I think it's an important one. many years ago, before you and I, any one of us were born, the U.S. has something that is almost analogous to what we see happening like that. Not quite the same, but it's one that involves government officials. Okay, in an 1803 case called Marlborough versus Madison, Thomas Jefferson, the newly elected Republican president, was coming into office. John Adams was leaving office, but what Adams did was he appointed a lot of different judges in different parts of the country. But most of those judges didn't get the commission signed. So when the new Republican government came in, Jefferson told his newly appointed Secretary of State, James Madison, don't sign it. Don't sign this thing. These guys are not going to be, we'll put our own people there. Justice John Marshall, who was this newly appointed Supreme Court Justice, who in fact was the same guy who failed to deliver the commission for Adams to sign. Marshall wrote the majority decision in that case in 1803. And the court essentially said that this matter involved two equal branches of government, the executive branch and the judiciary branch, right? The court said we will not hear the case. The reason Justice Marshall, if you really look into the history of the case, the reason Justice Marshall refused to hear the case, which created a separate rule all by itself called the rule of judicial review, is because the Supreme Court at the time was concerned that if we decide compelling James Madison to sign the commission, what if the newly elected Republican government refused to do it? Same concern here. If the Liberian Supreme Court decide that this majority block is unconstitutional as a matter of law, the question becomes, what if this majority block refused to comply? There's a constitutional crisis. My hope is it will be resolved in a way that, like Mr. Jawikan said, that takes into consideration the Liberian people.
Thank you. Speaking of taking the Liberian people into consideration, let's move on to you, Mr. Borden. You say all of this speaker removal thing that's been going on, the Liberian people suffers the most. You refer to them as the victim. If you care to expand on that, Mr. Borden.
Yeah, the reason I said that is that if you look at our society in totality, and you look at how much our people are, circumstances in front of suffering, these are the various political division, the constituent that they represent are coming from the districts they represent. They are in dire need of a lot of things, healthcare, education, you name it, roads and so forth. And you got people sitting discussing finances that will affect these people's lives. But yet their conversation is not directed towards the lives of these people, but towards their own personal lives. Now, it's so disheartening to note that these people are representing the people. And yet you're talking about on the very committee, for committee purpose, because there is some air up there about all it in the government, in the House of Representatives, who did what, who didn't do what, brought about all this confusion. Like if I was listening to one of the former speakers who chairman of executive, the former representative, Karen Gray, he spelled it already for them and said, this is not about anything else but money. And that's just the truth of the matter. What is the cause of removing the speaker? Who is more competent in our house, who have a legal mind, legal framework, that who have a legal thinking in terms of law? Does Thomas Fowler have any legal basis as a lawyer or any legal authority to be speaker? What a nuance of law you understand? He can help us in that direction. But it's a shame to our nation that we find ourselves in the situation we find ourselves. You got people who are lawmakers who have no understanding of legal law, the framework of law, or anything of that sort. They don't even understand their own rules in the house. It's a shame.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Boda. I'm sure a lot of Liberians at home and in the diaspora will agree with you, because and this will kind of draw the president of Liberia in the spotlight too, because we have a new administration and new lawmakers. You will say, but Liberians are still poor. We still suffer from poverty. The healthcare system is still, you know how it is. Education, we still do not have one of the best education system in Liberia. The economy hasn't seen any major boost. So, in addition to the lawmaker not doing anything, like you said, Mr. Boda, my question now would be, what has the president been doing? What is the president doing to improve those things, in addition to the efforts from action or inaction from the lawmakers? Now, let me use this opportunity to introduce Bishop Hagar. Bishop Hagar, welcome to the show. And you can take off from there. I gave you enough opportunity to listen to the rest of the panelists. Again, welcome to episode 1.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I greet all of the panelists. I've been listening to all of you. Thank you, Honorable Stevens Freeman, with your brilliant judicial input. Thank you, Mr. Bode. My own friend and brother, Honorable Dennis. I'm seeing you for a long time. I'm coming to your house there. Don't worry.
Sure, Bishop.
Talking we are. How you doing? Listen, I honestly want to say, we love our food to be cooked, ready to eat, but we don't understand that before the food is ready, it takes a lot of ingredients. The democratic culture and society that other nations enjoy, if you are a student of history, they went through different situations to refine their democratic culture. What is happening in Liberia is not uncommon. It happened in Kenya, it happened in Malawi, it happened all over the different countries where they are experimenting in the issue of developing a stable democratic environment. When you look at the issue of the speakership, I think, to be very frank, I don't want to go, I'm not a legal practitioner, but you can't force yourself on a woman that don't want you. It was the 73 representatives that decided to elect in when the horse king, according to the law, after the presidential election, the second Monday of after the election, January 20-something, they unanimously decided to elect a speaker. They have their own laws, and he was elected. Now the majority are saying we are lost confidence in you. Even if you go to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court say you follow the whatever legal framework. That legal framework is not the Constitution. The House of Representatives have their own way of operating. They have their own rules. It is not a law. They have their own rules, how they govern. When you went to the Supreme Court, all the justices, how they function, that there is code of conduct in the Supreme Court, and nobody can tell the justices in chamber how they will run their chamber. It is a Senate, it's something that they agree upon. Right now, 50 representatives out of the 73 districts came together, say we formed a majority bloc. We have lost confidence in Kofa. Let's put everything aside. Kofa cannot run the House of Representatives as their speaker. No more. You have lost the confidence. That is clear. Even if the Supreme Court decide to impose on him, he will never function effectively. So I am advising him. It happened here in America when this guy that led before Johnson came. What do you call the guy?
McCarthy.
How do you call the guy before the Speaker Johnson?
Kevin McCarthy.
The House of Representatives said he couldn't get the vote. So what he did, he resigned because he knew he couldn't get a vote. If the people say they don't want you, you can't keep yourself there. He's just making things complicated. You go up and come down, and Konate is no more speaker. because those are all honorable men. They represent their district. They have the power. They are independent people. They said they don't want him to be speaker. In 2018, Emmanuel Nukwe was speaker. They're talking from there. What's the problem with Kofa? Let him leave the people. It's not an entitlement. It's not an entitlement. It is the House of Representatives. Those guys decided to make him their speaker. It's not something that he went and the Liberian people elected him as speaker. He was elected as a representative for one district. It is the House of Representatives that decided to say, I want to be our spokesman. If they don't want you again, they can go sit down and become a representative. That's all. What's the problem there?
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you would like to respond to that, Councilor Freeman, because I was going to ask you the question based on what you said earlier.
I think it's critical to respond to that. I understand what the bishop is saying, and that's the layman's approach, and I respect that, okay? But let's be mindful. Let's be mindful because we are a democracy, and ours is a very fragile one. And it's incumbent on us as each one of us as custodians to preserve the rights of everyone. And the way we do it, whether you're a speaker, whether you're a marketer, anybody. Now, I understand you said, and you're right, that the House makes their own rule. In fact, if you look to Article 33, it says here clearly, a simple majority of each house shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business, but a lower number may adjourn from day to day. But if you go to 38, which is very important as far as what is ongoing, it said each house shall adopt its own rules of procedure, enforce order, and with the concurrence of 2/3 of the entire membership may expel a member for cause. You have to expel only for cause, right? Each house shall establish its own committees and subcommittees. And I will skip all of that. It said all rules adopted by the legislature shall conform to the requirements of due process of law laid down in the Constitution. So yeah, the House adopts its own rules. You're right. Notwithstanding, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. The Constitution clearly says on its face, there's no ambiguity. This is no but or if. There's no ambiguity. It clearly says on its face, the black letter of this law says that in order to expel a member of that body, that house, there must be 2/3, not a majority, but 2/3. But more importantly, it says, and I quote, it must conform with the constitutional requirements laid out in the 1986 Constitution. So I get your point, sir. But let's be mindful because there is a slippery slope here. And the slippery slope is if we remove this, look, I'm no fan of Kofa. I don't think he should have been elected in the first place, but that's besides the point. What is important as custodians of, right and wrong or best practices, in this case, the Constitution, they must adhere to the law. Because if they don't do so, we run a very dangerous path. And the path that you can kind of remove someone and say, well, the majority of us don't want this person again, so you're out. Right? We don't want that kind of society. We want a society that we can conform to the requirements and the tenets of the law. If they want to remove Kofa, that's the prerogative. I get it. But they must do it according to the law. They are custodians of the law as elected officials of government.
Yeah, Thank you. I have a quick question.
Go ahead. And now, go ahead. I recognize.
I want to find out, is this article that the House operates outside of the chamber of the House of Representatives from the Capitol? Is that something that's supposed to be done? Running the House, the Constitution, running outside the House? That they're doing like at a hotel or so forth? Is that something that is a norm?
Who are you directing a question to?
Councilor Freeman. I mean, maybe is this? Can they operate outside the House of Representatives, or they can operate anywhere they can find deemed necessary?
No, that would be uncalled for, right? In fact, to your point, this matter went to the Supreme Court. That very issue went to the Supreme Court, right? And the court, the justice in chamber said that, yes, the House can conduct its own affairs. They can make their own rules. They can decide to expel or to, terminate someone's involvement. But the court, the justice in chamber said that they should return to the House. They should return to full session of the House and then do what they have to do, but do it legally. So to answer your question more directly, no, you cannot go and start, conducting the affairs of the people in a hotel.
No,
you can do that.
Thank you, Councilor Freeman. Before you,
they are automating factors.
Bishop Hagan,
I need to speak on that.
I will give you the opportunity. Let's hear from Mr. Jawinkin. We are first, please. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor, I just have a question for you. What we're talking about is not expulsion. They are not expelling him. Does that apply? This is just you are not eligible. He's not being expelled from a house. They are just saying that, well, you are not our leader anymore. You are not our speaker, but he's still the representative of his constituency. This is not expulsion. Can you clarify that?
Well, and I think that's a good twist, right? Yes, they may not be removing him as representative, but as speaker, they're removing him. That's expulsion. If I'm I'm an attorney general, and you say, look, we're going to take the attorney general position from you, but you're still a lawyer. Have I been expelled from being an attorney general?
No, but
for purposes of that, for purposes of my previous position, yes, I've been expelled. I'm no more an attorney general. So I understand. Look, I don't want to engage in the semantics, right?
I just want clarification that so because it's still in the body.
I think if we start going into the weeds of the semantics, it gets a little bit nuanced. But here's the thing: he's a Speaker of the House. Article 49 said there must be a presiding officer. The Speaker under Article 49 is in fact the presiding officer. And President Walker, to his credit, when he submitted the 2025 budget, it was addressed specifically to the presiding officer, i.e. the Speaker of the House. So to remove the Speaker unconstitutionally, you are essentially expelling him from his title as Speaker. Not necessarily from the whole entire body, but you're essentially expelling him from his title as a Speaker.
So I think the answer for me,
Mr. Dennis, I have to recognize Bishop Hagan before I come to you. Bishop Hagan, go ahead.
What the House of Representatives of the guys at the Capitol building has a right, if they feel that the environment is not conducive to conduct business, transfer the place where they will meet to conduct the people business. It happened from 1997 when the government was elected. They used the hotel across the Bridgewater Island, where I know OU Village, somewhere there, across the bridge there. They used it for extensive number of months until they could get the building ready. We also realized that the journalists reported that most of the seating capacity in the chambers were broken down. So you have to understand they're not just moving, but if the environment is not conducive and they have to operate, they are given that responsibility to move to a place to conduct business. So it's not illegal. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much.
Let me disagree with my brother. You're very respectful.
Mr. Boda, I understand you disagree with Bishop Hagan, but I have to go to Mr. Dennis. I will come to you. Go ahead, Mr. Dennis.
No. I think I'm just following, and we are all on course here.
You want to use your time to Mr. Boda?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add to. No, I don't let you use my time too much. Okay. But this time, Mr. Boda, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want the bishop to understand that this is not a Labrampo business. This is personal administrative issue within the house, and there is nothing wrong with the house to be used. There's a lot of chimera in the house that can be used to conduct businesses. So if the lawmakers are violating our laws that it made, like the council said, it set a bad precedent. You cannot have a chimera, leave your chimera, go sit in a hotel and conduct business that is not being recognized under the law. So, Hagar, please. I mean, I understand wherever your support lie, or for the LeBron people, or wherever you stand in the matter, but it's duty wrong to do so.
I am the most patriotic Liberian on the planet right now. I can say that clearly to everybody.
Thank you.
I am saying that it is not illegal for them to transfer the operational environment. If they deem that the Capitol building is not conducive, they have the right to conduct a fair assault. That it happened in 1997. They never make that House of Representatives. They met at the OU village to the hotel for numerous months.
That's a whole different case.
Businesses that was conducted that was not illegal.
No, that was not on that basis.
Go ahead, Councilor.
That's not true. Don't compare the two. They are not comparable.
So, but if I may interject, but Bishop Hagar, to your point, right? Then who make that decision? Who designates the place to be not suitable so that they can go somewhere else? Isn't it the speaker? In this particular case, the speaker, in fact, told them to come back to work. The court told them to come back to work. Look, context matters. Look, you can support anybody you want to support, and I respect that. But let's call it a spade a spade. Context matters. You are citing an extenuating circumstance that does not exist here. The circumstance you're citing is an extenuating one that does not exist in this particular context. In this particular case, the speaker told his members, his colleagues, on multiple occasions, you must resume work, and then we can debate the issue you have on your mind. They went to the court. The court said, return to the chamber and discuss the issue at stake. So I get it. I get this, the twists and turns you're trying to engage here. Notwithstanding, it's flawed.
Thank you, Councilor Freeman. Let me ask you a question, Bishop Hagar. It seems to me, and Councilor Freeman here is saying that, he said for Britain that the lawmakers involved show a flagrant disregard for the law. So it appears that I want to ask you this question though: do you have a problem with lawmakers trying to remove the speaker for violating the law while they themselves are violating the law? Do you seem to have a problem with that?
What the issue of violating the law by the Honorable House is a discussion we will be taking on another day. But today,
why not talk about?
Hold on. You asked me a question.
Go ahead.
The majority block of the House of Representatives said, and this is their right, they put the boogeyman there. They don't want the boogeyman there. Let the boogeyman go sit down. Let them move the country forward. Simple. That's how democracy works. It went all over the world like that. Do you know if I need how many speakers have been removed from different parliaments? Some of them were pulled out of the speakership. That's democracy. The people say they don't want you. You just pack your law and leave. That's how it is. I'm going to see the list of all. Liberia is not unique. Liberia is not unique. Even Israel. The speaker of the Israeli parliament were removed. They said they want you. That's it.
Bishop, I have to ask you this, and I have to take your word for it. So you do not care how to go about doing that? What are they violate the very?
We are still evolving. Our democratic culture, we're still learning. So give the guys the ability to function.
You don't care whether they violate the Constitution or not.
Now you can take them to court, but right now they are doing what they're supposed to do that best suit the people that elected them. That's what I'm saying. They are duly elected by Liberian people.
Let's hear from you, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah, my take is this. Look, we are not saying, for me, I'm not saying that the process to remove the speaker is not hasn't been done in other countries or is not appropriate. What we're saying is that he was not given the due process. Because what we're saying now, that could have been somebody else. It could be somebody else tomorrow in the future. What example are we setting now in the House? Is that in the positive footing? What is that are we setting now? He was never given the due process. Okay, and then they went to court. They went to court, and the court said, "Go back." And the counselor saying, we all followed that. They said, "Go back, resume work, and then follow suit with your proceeding." And they said, "No." You see that? So that's what we are saying. We are saying, give him the due process, and he himself is asking for the audience. He's asking for the audience.
Question, please.
Go ahead, Mr. Jai.
He wants that.
Go ahead, Mr. Jai.
I want to ask the counselor a question. Counselor, is it also not a violation that because of one person, the function of the body is being held hostage?
What's held hostage, sir?
The function of the entire body because of one person. But even though all of them were elected to serve the
No,
people,
sir, it's not a violation. I mean,
but they are not performing anything.
It's
about
almost as if. Look, let me tell you something. And I listened to Co-Father last time, and I hate to be citing him, but he said resigning is an option that I reserve. Right? It's no violation. It may be repugnant, socially repugnant. You may say it's morally wrong, but it's no violation. What is a violation is...
What's about Article 1, though?
What does Article 1 say, sir?
What Article 1 say?
Well, I think the Article 1 says that like the purpose of serving is for the security and the interest and the satisfaction of the Liberian people.
So let me ask you a question. If, for example, good segment of the Liberian Post demonstrating said President Bouaka should resign, do you think it's a violation if he doesn't resign?
It's different situation.
And if they don't go through election?
No, because this is
if, for example, all the cabinet members start saying the president should resign right now, all his cabinet members, you think if he doesn't resign, it's a violation?
Not as leader of the country, no.
Oh, so they are not
because they are not. The difference is this: Kofa was elected as representative of his constituency, so to serve as a speaker is a privilege. The same.
No, it's not. No.
Let me say this.
The selection of the speaker is also enshrined on Article 49. Article 49 said there shall be one speaker and a deputy speaker.
Yes.
The speaker shall be the presiding officer. That's Article 49. It's not about privilege.
49.
Okay.
There is a second rule. There's a set rule of how to actually elect the speaker. Now, if it was simply a privilege, if they simply just went around the room and said, "Hey, man, come and be our speaker," then maybe they can just take him out anyhow, right? But the law, the Constitution, which is the supreme law, clearly sets a requirement. And we cannot continue to circumvent the law because, according to the bishop,
well, the country is paralyzed.
Yeah, they don't want you to go. No, that's not how it works.
Precedent.
That body is there to enact laws, to pass budgets and stuff like that. If it's not done the proper way, my suspicion it will have a problem down the line. We are setting precedent. This is all about setting precedent. Kofa should be removed if the people don't want him. But equally so, they have to do it in accordance with the law. It's as simple as that. If you don't do that, you create a situation where there's a slippery slope. Anyone can say, "Hey, we don't want you anymore," and they take you out even without adhering to the rule of law. Somebody can say, "Look, well, the majority of people say they don't want this person. He's committed a crime. No due process. We put him on firing squad and we get rid of him." We've seen that before. We've seen. Let me finish. If I may finish, we've seen situations in the 80s. I remember the situation of then Grady Allison, defense minister, who was taken to a kangaroo court, no due process of law, and he was found guilty. We've seen that over and over in our system where people are not accorded due process of law and their rights are stripped, their property are stripped, they're sent to prison. So when I talk about the slippery slope, it's what I'm talking about, where people in power do not adhere to the law because they feel they're powerful people and they can do what they want to do. And we say, well, for the sake of this, let's let it go. Our system is being tested, and I think should be tested the right way.
Thank you so much, Councilor Freeman. Guys, thank you all for your contribution on this episode and this segment of this episode. We will take our final break. When we come back, we will go to each of you to give us your final words on this episode. Until then, we'll see you guys after the break.
Hi, my name is Theophilus Juniper Nelson I. I am the founder and CEO of Lift Africa LLC. Lift Africa started as an employment agency that sought the employment of immigrants coming to the U.S. and finding ways and means to go to start life in this great your country. Now we have added airport pickups and drop, car rental, hall rental. As you see, we have a new business location. Started with just a little office part, but today we have a whole complex that we can do a lot of stuff with.
Hello everyone, my name is Geneva Krantz. I'm the Executive Administrator of Uplift Africa. We have an excellent employment rate at our company. We work with and for you regardless of your situation. If you've ever been in prison, maybe your background isn't great, do not worry. We have a place for you here. We believe in equal opportunity for everyone, especially you. So sign up today and begin earning.
My name is Emmanuel B. Horton, Operational Director for Live Africa. Live Africa is the place to be.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the Hard Zone, episode 1 of season 7. We are at the very end of this episode. And so we'll now take the closing remarks from our panelists, and then we will draw the curtain to this one, and then see you guys back here next Thursday, same time, same network. Bishop Hager, you disconnected earlier, so I will ask you the only question I have left. And if Councilor Freeman, thank you again for joining us.
He's back, yes.
I have one question left. So I will, if any one of you guys would like to respond to it, I appreciate it, but I would like for Bishop Hager or Councilor Freeman to respond to it. At this point, given what's going on in the legislature, what can President Bouaka do with his executive power? What can he do to kind of remedy the entire situation, or just kind of like resolve it for the sake of the Liberian people? What power does he have? Councilor Freeman, if you want to like,
well, you always, every little situation in Liberia, when somebody break their fault, you will say, what can President Bouaka do? When somebody beat his wife, what can President Bouaka do? President Bouaka can do anything. The democratic culture must evolve. They will find an answer. President Bouaka was elected by Liberian people to implement the law. He's waiting on the House of Representatives when they can put that process in place. He will relate with whoever is the leader of the House of Representatives. We must understand that we cannot say we want our cake and eat at the same time. Democrats have consequences. And if we want a true democratic environment, the president has limitation. He can't just call anybody and say, oh, let's solve the problem. No, it's not his role. These are mature, honorable people. It happened all over the world, and I keep saying it. Liberia is no different from any country. They are just watched recently in New Zealand. People are in parliament, they are really fighting each other. So why are you making it look like Liberia is different? It is not different. These are interests. People have their interests. They have to fight for it, and that's it. The president should not do anything.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councilor Freeman, if you want to chime in on this one, do you think President Bouaka, with his executive power, can do something about this, or at least say something about it?
Well, from a constitutional standpoint, the president powers are limited, right? Like I said earlier, initially there are three separate branches of government, right? We have the judicial, executive, and in this case, the legislative branch. Look, other than sort of encouraging them to adhere to the rule of law, I don't expect him to do anything. It's a separate branch of government. He needs to remind them of their legal functions, their constitutional requirements. But beyond that, the president cannot interfere. That's beyond him. The only other branch of government that has the constitutional ability to act is the Supreme Court. And this matter is not before the court, so we'll see what happens moving forward.
I think thank you very much, Councilor Freeman. I think the president reminding the lawmakers to adhere to their constitutional responsibility is better than just doing nothing, like Bishop Hager said. But again, we will take the closing remark from all of you panelists. I would like to start with you, Mr. Dennis. Give us your take on this episode. Give us your final words today.
No, I want to say thank you very much to my fellow panelists. Wonderful discussion. Thank you to the counselor for the details on some of the doubt that I had prior to coming to the show regarding the constitutionality of the matters that we have on here now with our legislature. But again, we hope that this will be resolved because Liberian people want to have something done, have the job done. They were elected to do something, not to sit there and do nothing. So I think the court will decide, Supreme Court will decide, and pretty soon they will get back to work. That's my take on that. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. Let's now move to you, Mr. Martin Buddha. Give us your final words on this episode.
Thank you, Derrick, and I want to say thanks to my fellow panelists here tonight for the conversation and giving our post some understanding of the issues. I also want to say thanks to Brother Freeman for the brilliant legal mind that he provided on the show tonight. And it's good. It's good to have some of these conversations. And I hope that our president, Honorable Buckeye, will take the opportunity at this time. There are a lot of things in his corner that he can use. He got executive power. He's not holding them hostage. They're holding themselves hostage. And, that's when a president is supposed to be created at this point, to do things that he needs to do. When the people are sleeping, they're lying there dormant and they're doing crazy stuff. You got to wait for the Liberian people, and that's how we'll kick some of them out of offices. But I hope that they'll come to their senses, not drag the day too long, because the legal process takes a lot of time. But we ask that they come back home to do the work that they're supposed to do in the house. You can't be outside sleeping in the street and working for us. So, but the brown people, I want you to watch and see who you are electing. And the next time you come to elect these people, you got to understand what they're coming to do for you. It's a learning curve for everybody. You can move your speaker, but follow the rule that you're giving. You are lawmakers. And you want us to learn, you're making laws that will benefit and affect our nation in the future or time to come. We'll sit and see. So that's my message to the Liberian people. Watch these people clean it and make sure that they are not the people you elect next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Boda. Let's hear from you, Mr. Jawinkin Weir. Give us your final words.
All right. Thank you, Derrick. I want to thank Councilor Freeman as well. Well, here is my take. We all recognize, or we all remember, when the Civil War started in Liberia, we all knew that Doe was duly elected. You are holding on to his right as a elected president. When the war was coming slowly, when even the American government offered him the passage to leave the country, he refused because he felt he was elected. This question about the speakership, in my opinion, it is not about who is right or wrong. It is about doing the work of the Liberian people. no matter which position you serve, it is for the Liberian people, not for personality. So I hope Speaker Kofa and his team understand that he was elected as a representative of the constituency. The people don't removing him. He was elected as a speaker. The House now, majority say they don't trust him to be their head. So he should put the Liberian people first. This should not be about right or wrong, but Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Jai Winkin Wee and Bishop Hager for the people. Let's hear your final words.
Well, if you are listening or watching this show, Konati Kofa, my friend and brother, you can't be with a woman that don't want you. Forget it. There is absolutely no way. Let's put everything together. Supreme Court following the rules of law. The majority, those who don't work for the next 6 years, they even go 1 year, they say they didn't trust you. Please do the right thing. Resign. It happened all over the world. I keep saying it. Even in this America, speakers are being removed and the new ones elected. That is not entitlement. That position of the speaker is not entitlement. Majority say they don't want you anymore. Please resign. Do the honorable thing, resign. And to the Liberian people, please don't take this thing. There is no instability coming. That is the normal Democrat, how we develop the democratic culture. We got to test the system. We got to wake up high, get better. Now, people are talking about to tear whatever it is. After this scenario, the House of Representatives can go back and redefine, and make it very explicit. Those amendment comes about. Because when those kind of things being identified, fraud being identified in setting composition, we go back and now refine it. Maybe after the House of Representatives will specify clearly their own guidelines. But right now, there's an impasse. And the impasse, the most honorable thing to do is for Kofa. Please resign. Leave the thing. Go and become your representative from what Grand Crew, wherever you come from, represent your people. That's how it is. And continue with your job, period. Stop making it long. You don't want making it long. Keep making it long. That's what I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Bishop Hager. I hope Funati Kofa is listening. Representative.
I wrote him a letter. I've sent a Facebook podcast. I sent it to him. I wrote me a letter. He's making it too long.
I think that will really help him make his decision.
Yeah.
Let's hear from you, Councilor Freeman. Give us your final words.
Bishop Hager, I hate to break it to you, but it is clear on what the requirements are.
Yeah,
it's very clear. It's in black and white. Okay, there's no ambiguity there.
All right.
But I would like to take this opportunity, since we are talking about the legislative branch of government, I'd like to take this opportunity to take a different approach. For once, this is something that has been on my heart for a long time now, and I think I've discussed it in some other areas. Our system of government was founded, to look like, to resemble that of America. Unfortunately, the founding fathers, those frontiers that went to Liberia, they brought back to Liberia what they knew, the American system. They didn't do any empirical study to determine whether or not this system from America will work for our people back home. They brought their system of government, one we still have since 1847. Look, since 1847, we've had judiciary, legislative, and executive branch of government. Now, the government, with respect to the legislative branch, has expanded over the years. But what has not changed, and we can all admit to this, is the fact that the lives of the Liberian people continue to remain stagnant. The people continue to suffer representative lives improve as soon as they get elected, whereas their constituents and the constituency remain impoverished. People suffering. People cannot afford to put food on their tables. That's a shame. But at the same time, the lives of those men, most of them have no real formal education. They live in opulence, right? They receive gas benefit, house help benefit, cars, and you name them, on and on. That's an injustice all by itself. So I'm speaking directly to the Liberian people, maybe to President Bwaka as well. This is the president who once told me, as I sat with him in his house, that Stephen, I will make some changes. We haven't seen them yet, Mr. President. To the Liberian people, it's time for you to really think about this critically. Do we still need a House and a Senate? Because ultimately, government is intended to work for the benefit of its people. In the case of Liberia, none of our government have worked for our people. People continue to live in poverty. People are suffering. The basic necessities, they don't have it. Why representatives get rich overnight? It's wrong. We can all agree that's injustice all by itself. That system of government we have in Liberia, I'll put it in plain English, does not work for the benefit of the Liberian people. My call to the president and to all other activists and advocates out there, it's time you start educating the Liberian people on the idea of a referendum. A referendum for us to change our legislative branch of government in a way that works for our people. America is a federal society. We are not a federal country. We are a unitary republic, a small country. We don't need a House and a Senate. We don't need that. We need a system like Ghana. One house, one chamber. So you don't have to spend more than 80% of scarce resources, scarce money on paying representatives and senators. You elect representatives for what, 6 years? And senators for what, 9 years?
9 years.
That is a shame. We all need to start really talking about the nitty-gritties. Do we still need a system that does not work for our people only because we adopted it from America? No one wants to talk about the real issue. The real issue here is that we have a system that is so grounded, and they don't want to see it done any other way because they benefit from it to the detriment of the population. That needs to change. I will hope every stakeholder, and I told Tier 1 the last time, they need to start talking about the issue of reform, real reform, a reform that does some constitutional amendments. So instead of having a House and a Senate, we can have a single House. Streamline it to the point that it becomes more beneficial to the people so that you don't have the influx of everyone in every county. The most famous carpenter can come to town and become a representative. The most famous masonry can come to town and become a representative, so that the people can send their best minds to represent them for their benefit. In order to do that, we can have a referendum in Liberia, a constitutional referendum, where the Liberian people themselves can say, we want to change this constitutional amendment that talk about a House and the Senate and create a simpler system. We're not a federal society. We're a unitary country, a small one at that. That's my call to the Liberian people. Something to start to talk about. We haven't really had this discussion, but it's something to look into really critically. Because otherwise, we'll all pass by those before us, and nothing will change in the lives of the Liberian people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councilor Freeman. Bishop Hagar.
I'm going to appreciate the honor of the councilor. I never heard that one before. I spoke before him. I'm going to appreciate him. And I said, when you ready for us to go and start making those kind of mobilization, I'll be able to give him resources and support. That's what I'm saying.
Bishop Hagar, you've been here since season 1. You know the rules for this show. This is the only segment where we don't take rebuttal. Thank you so much for your contribution.
I'm not making rebuttal. I'm going to appreciate him.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hagar, Mr. Martin Boda, Councilor Freeman. Mr. Jai Winkin, Mr. Dennis, and to all of you in the audience that were with us tonight for this show. But this is where we'd like to draw the curtain for this episode. We will be back here next Thursday, same time. This is the Liberian Radio and Television Network. This is the Hard Zone episode 1, season 7. My name is Derrick Yallay. Thank you so much for allowing me to play host tonight. But until next time, do have a pleasant good night.
I want picture of
I post for the photo, but I can see myself in the photo. Post. What happened to the photo? Now I can see myself in the photo. Post. The people that were laughing at the photo, now the people that I see shining in the photo. Post. I post for the photo, but I can see myself in the photo. What happened to the photo? Now I can see myself in the photo. The people that were laughing at the photo, now the people that I see shining in the photo. Baby, what happened to the photo? What happened? Are you ready to tell you all the photo? Now I can see myself in the photo. I was standing right down there in the photo, but now I can't even see my shadow in the photo. Where deep, blah in the photo. So I got the money I see in the photo. They say your camera was dog. They say your picture was not clear. If your picture will be all clear, now the reason why they went and took the picture different place. But now I see the pussy in the photo. Talking said I didn't want enjoy in the photo. Where were y'all when we were in the photo? Pussy in the ring and the sun for the photo. Photo go to did not follow in the photo. When I wear deep, blah, shining in the photo.